you're kind of like a well, and your energy is like the water inside of that well. So if you're constantly pouring out to your mother and everyone else, and you're not making time to actually put anything back into that well, sooner or later the well's going to dry up. Hey, Laura J.E. Hamilton here with a message about self care. It was inspired by a conversation I had yesterday with a fellow family member of another patient at the hospital where my papa has been for the last couple weeks. And so has her mother. And this lady, has been staying overnight. She's there all the time. Her brothers come and sub out for her occasionally, but for the most part, she has taken on the brunt of this burden. And she wasn't complaining by any means, but she was really upset because something had been said about how much she's there and how much she's using, because she's always there, because she wants to really give her mom the best opportunity to heal and make sure she's fully comfortable. And she is so selfless in this whole process. And I said to her that, you're kind of like a well, and your energy is like the water inside of that well. So if you're constantly pouring out to your mother and everyone else, and you're not making time to actually put anything back into that well, sooner or later the well's going to dry up. And when the well dries up, then you're actually going to have to stop and take time out completely in order to recover yourself and get something back in that well to then be able to give more from. And it's the reminder to each of us that so oftentimes, especially as women, we feel like we need to put everyone else first. But if I treat myself as my number one, and you treat yourself as your number one, and anybody else around either of us right now treat themselves as their number one too, where is the number two in the room? There isn't one. We don't need to put everyone else's needs before our own. We don't need to constantly be pushing out and giving of ourselves without making time for us, because that is just setting us up to fail. It's setting us up to have to take ourselves out completely in order to recharge enough to get something back to give more from. Take time along the way. Do something for yourself every day that is actually going to fill you on a soulful level, a physiological level, an emotional level, a stimulating conscious level, intuitive level, action level, and also love and bubbles. Because who doesn't want more love, bubbles for the fun, and also the boundaries that come with honoring yourself and others in the process? That's what it means to have a special practice, and that is what self-care is all about. It's about looking after ourselves and treating ourselves as the holistic being that we are, rather than just the meat suit that we are transporting our soul through this lifetime in. One of the biggest things that I've been doing during this process as well has been clearing and decluttering, because in order to receive anything else into my life, and the same is true for you, we have to let go of what no longer serves. A really effective way to really measure what we've got in our life that is currently serving us or not is to actually go through the different behaviors and circumstances in your life and actually put them into a chart. And if you take a square and then divide it into 4 different quadrants, make one your start column, one your stop column, one your continue column, and the other your change. If you are able to apply all of your behaviors and all of your choices through the filtration system of start, stops, continue, and change, you'll then be able to really see what is on your plate. So many times people say, oh, I'm going to give it 110%. And this woman is doing her very best to be able to do that. And it's commendable. And I feel for her because I see how hard she's trying. But it is also to say that if you are constantly putting others first, then you're going to get emptied, and your plate is going to get to the point of overflowing where it's actually none of it's going to be good because all of it is just meshing into one. There's no need to mesh everything in your life into one. Compartments are a really good thing because they create those boundaries that keep us healthy. Boundaries keep us healthy because without constraint, we cannot know freedom. Self-care is the combination of constraint and freedom that allow us to truly step into and experience and express more of ourselves as the divinely inspired creations that we are. We are divine beings that come from Source to experience ourselves as the individuated expressions of that Source. We are God sparks. There is a speck of stardust inside each of us that is running our show. And if we don't look after that stardust, if we don't look after the vessel that contains it, we won't be able to move through life as fast as what we could if we just took some time for ourselves. So I hope this message serves you. I hope that you'll create that list to what you can start, stop, continue, and change. And I hope that you will remember that the only time the energy of number 2 comes into the room is when you put yourself there. Treat yourself as your number 1. Allow everyone else to do the same without anyone feeling like they have to be less than anyone else in order to be enough. And we'll all fly through this together because that's where it's best. I hope this serves you. Would love to hear what you have to say about it. So comment below, and if you would like to support more of these kind of messages coming, then please check out my Patreon link, and I would appreciate your support very, very, very much. So, Laura J, namaste. The light in me honors the light in you.